I went into Sisu with great excitement after having seen several positive reviews online, but boy were they either stoned when they watched this or just happy to praise anything non-Hollywood. While there are some good moments, the biggest criticism of the film can be summed up with this scene from Austin Powers.
Even gonna watch them? They could get away.
No. I'm going to leave them alone and not actually witness them dying. I'm just gonna assume it all went to plan. What?
I have a gun in my room. You give me 5 seconds, I'll get it. I'll come back down here. Boom! I'll blow their brains out.
Scott, you just don't get it, do you? You don't.
The story is extremely simple, as it should be for such a movie, and begins with Aitami Korpi, a former Finnish soldier working in the wilderness as a prospector. His hard work pays off one day when he discovers a rich vein of gold. The ore is harvested and Aitami needs to travel across Finland to the nearest bank where he can deposit his riches and set himself up for a lovely retirement. But can he get his fortune to safety? For unfortunately, we're in the dying days of World War II, and Aitami is soon accosted by a group of Nazis. The action kicks off immediately as the former soldier kills these men and draws the attention of Bruno Helldorf, a ruthless Nazi commander, to the fact he's carrying gold. This treasure will serve as the parachute Bruno can use to escape the fall of the Third Reich. Perhaps it'll even pay for a trip to Argentina, the land of the beautiful and the damned. Aitami is shot, stabbed, and even hung as the Nazis work to steal the gold and then try to keep it from the hands of a man who we come to learn is a highly regarded killing machine, having slaughtered 300 Russian soldiers during his military service. While the setup is perfect for a grindhouse film, it quickly becomes apparent that Aitami isn't surviving because of his ingenuity and grit, but rather the largesse of the writer-director Jalmari Helander. S. Craig Zahler of Bone Tomahawk and Brawl in Cell Block 99 gave us brutal films which still had a level of intelligence behind them, such that characters succeed not because of their antagonist's stupidity, but rather because of their own cleverness. I would suggest a bit more Zahler in the script could have turned Sisu into an absolute masterpiece. But, in the Sisu we got, the Nazis have the aim of a stormtrooper from Star Wars rather than, well, a stormtrooper from World War II. They also forego that classic German stereotype of ruthless efficiency in favor of some extraordinary foolishness. Really, guys? We're gonna hang the man instead of using a bullet? Even after he killed your boys?
Scott, you just don't get it, do you? You don't.
I'd be more forgiving if Aitami was set up as an undead figure like the Crow, a sort of Finnish avenging angel, instead of a strong-willed man, because all of his strength would have been for naught if the writers gave the Nazis an IQ above 75. Perhaps if the movie had been called Koshei, which I understand to mean the undead or immortal, then all these criticisms would be mute, and the fantastical elements could be forgiven. Unfortunately, the filmmakers went with Sisu, which I understand refers to great determination, but this isn't a triumph of the Finnish spirit, it's a triumph of lazy writing. One could have just made a biopic about Simo Häyhä, an acclaimed Finnish sniper in World War II who actually showed real Sisu, and the film would have worked just as well. Alternatively, the story could have followed the women captured and abused by the Nazis as they displace Sisu and break free from their captors. But no. Fantasy is turned up to 11 by the third act, and at this point I was left thinking Aitami's survival was dependent on a nonsense as extreme as John Wick's bulletproof suit. But here, Sisu lacks the beautiful fight choreography that at least gave the John Wick films something interesting to watch. The final frustrating element was that the trained soldiers are god-awful shots, as I've mentioned, but then later, untrained women have great accuracy. How is that not an example of so-called woke writing? I recall a lot of hullabaloo about the Mary Sue in Star Wars. Can you not see it's the same thing here? Given the depredations these women undergo as slaves for the Nazis, it was cathartic to see them overcome their captives and have a badass moment. So I'll kinda be forgiving of that just because you want to see them get the other hand. Nevertheless, it's still a hard sell when so many stupid choices at the start of the film make this boss babe moment a reality in the end. It seems to me that Sisu was designed with the belief that because Nazis are bad, everyone will forgive the film's flaws just to see them get what they have coming. Unfortunately, I think a film in 2023 should be trying to come up with something better than what we did in the 60s. On the complimentary side, the landscapes are hauntingly beautiful. Chapter 1 has some gorgeous shots, and I could have watched Aitami ride a horse for half an hour without complaint. The actors all deliver a good performance, especially Jorma Tomila as Aitami, who conveys multitudes without any dialogue for most of the film. Finally, the fact that this was made with only €6 million is a real testament to the crew's ingenuity and love of cinema. You can never fault that. But the writing hurts this film in a big way. Cool action scenes lazily strung together does not make for a good film. While bad Nazis being killed is always a crowd pleaser, it still doesn't mean you should scrimp on good writing. So for me, it's 2.5 dabs out of 5.